The morning on Colony Hannah 7 started like any other. The twin suns rose over the green hills, and the children ran to school. Mothers made breakfast. Fathers went to work in the farms and factories. 12 million people lived on this small world, and they had built something beautiful here. Una stood on her balcony and watched the sunrise. She was 23 years old, with dark hair and kind eyes. Her father was Admiral Taiho, the most respected military commander in Earth's fleet. But Una did not want to be a soldier. She wanted to be a teacher. She loved children, and she loved peace. She had moved to Hannah 7 3 years ago because it was quiet. There were no weapons here, no military bases, just families trying to live good lives far from the noise of Earth. Her neighbor, Old Man Do-hyun, waved at her from his garden. He was 70 years old and grew the best tomatoes on the colony. His wife had died 2 years ago, and now he spent his days in his garden, talking to his plants like they were his friends. "Beautiful morning," Do-hyun called out. "Yes, it is," Una replied with a smile. She did not know that in 2 hours, both of them would be dead. The Vora ships came without warning. They dropped out of faster-than-light travel directly above the colony. There were 50 of them, each one massive and dark, blocking out the twin suns like a wall of shadow. The colony had no defense systems. Why would it? This was a farming world, a peaceful world. The Galactic Council had rules about attacking civilian settlements. Every species followed these rules. It was the foundation of peace among the stars. But the Vora did not care about rules. The first plasma beam hit the capital city of Hanseong. The explosion was so bright that people 50 kilometers away went blind. The heat was so intense that buildings turned to vapor in seconds. 40,000 people died in that first strike. They did not even have time to scream. Una felt the ground shake. She saw the flash of light in the distance. For a moment, she did not understand what was happening. Then she saw the ships in the sky, and her heart turned to ice. "No," she whispered. "No, no, no." She grabbed her communication device and tried to call her father. But all the channels were dead. The Vora had blocked all signals leaving the planet. No one could call for help. No one could send a warning. The colony was alone. Old Man Do-hyun came running to her door. His face was white with fear. "We need to get to the shelter," he said. "The emergency bunker under the school. It might protect us." They ran through the streets together. All around them, people were screaming, crying, running in every direction. Some tried to get to their ships, but the Vora were shooting down anything that tried to leave the atmosphere. Small civilian transports exploded like fireworks in the sky. A young mother ran past them, carrying a baby in her arms. Her name was Minji, and she worked at the bakery downtown. Her husband was in the capital city. She did not know yet that he was already gone. "This way," Una shouted. "Follow us." They reached the school. The bunker door was open, and hundreds of people were pushing inside. Una helped Old Man Do-hyun down the stairs. She pushed Minji and her baby ahead of her. Then she turned to look at the sky one more time. That was when she saw the bomb falling. It was not like the plasma beams. This was different. This was a planet killer. A weapon designed to destroy all life on a world. The Vora were not trying to conquer Hannah 7. They were trying to erase it. Una understood in that moment that she was going to die. There was no escape. No miracle would save her. She thought of her father, far away on Earth, and she hoped he would not blame himself. "I'm sorry, Dad," she whispered. The bomb hit the ground 200 kilometers away. The shock wave traveled faster than sound, faster than thought. The bunker offered no protection. Nothing could protect against this. Una felt a moment of incredible heat. Then nothing. Old Man Do-hyun who had spent his life growing tomatoes and missing his wife. Was gone. Minji and her baby, who had done nothing wrong except exist. Were gone. The children in the school, who had been learning mathematics that morning, were gone. 12 million people. Gone in hours. The Vora ship circled the dead world once, scanning for survivors. There were none. Then they left, moving on to their next target. Admiral Taiho was on Earth when he received the news. He was in a meeting with the Defense Council, discussing trade routes and supply lines. A junior officer walked into the room with a pale face and shaking hands. "Sir," the officer said, "I'm sorry. Colony Hannah 7 has been destroyed." Taiho did not understand at first. Destroyed? What do you mean, destroyed? Total annihilation, sir. The Vora attacked 3 hours ago. There are no survivors. The room went silent. Everyone knew that Taiho's daughter lived on Hannah 7. Everyone watched as the old admiral processed the words. Taiho did not cry. He did not scream. He simply sat there for a long moment, his hands flat on the table. Then he spoke in a voice that was calm and empty. "Show me the footage." They showed him satellite images of the attack, the plasma beams hitting the cities, the planet killer falling from the sky, the aftermath, a world of ash and silence where green hills had once stood. Taiho watched it all. He watched his daughter's world die. He watched everything she had loved burn. And something inside him changed. He had spent his entire career believing in diplomacy, believing in peace, believing that if humanity showed respect to the galaxy would respect humanity in return. He had been a fool. The Vora had not attacked because humanity provoked them. They attacked because they could. Because humanity was young and weak and had no reputation for violence. The galaxy saw humans as soft, harmless, easy prey. Taiho stood up from his chair. His face was stone. His eyes were dead. "Call an emergency session of the United Council," he said. "Every leader, every commander, everyone." "Sir, what should I tell them?" Taiho walked toward the door. He stopped and looked back at the screen, where his daughter's world still burned. "Tell them that humanity is done being polite." The United Council chamber was the largest room on Earth. It was built 300 years ago, when humanity first learned it was not alone in the universe. The walls were made of white marble, and the ceiling showed a map of known space. Every nation on Earth had a seat here. Every voice mattered. But today, there was only silence. The leaders sat in their chairs and stared at the screens. They had all seen the footage from Hannah 7. They had all watched 12 million people die. Some of them had tears on their faces. Others looked sick. A few looked angry. But no one spoke. Admiral Taiho stood at the center of the room. He had not slept in 2 days. He had not eaten. He had only watched the footage over and over, memorizing every detail, burning it into his mind. "The Vora have made their choice," he said. His voice was quiet but clear. "They attacked the civilian colony. They killed everyone. Men, women, children. They used a planet killer on people who had no weapons, no army, no way to fight back." "Perhaps it was a mistake," said Representative Jisoo from the Eastern Coalition. She was a diplomat, trained to find peaceful solutions. "Perhaps we should open communication channels and ask them to explain." Taiho looked at her. There was no anger in his eyes, just emptiness. They knew exactly what they were doing. The attack was planned. The jamming of our signals was deliberate. They did not want us to call for help because they did not want anyone to stop them. "Then we must bring this to the Galactic Council," said Chancellor Suho from the European Union. "There are rules. The Council will punish them." "The Council will do nothing," said a new voice. Everyone turned to look at Fleet Commander Sunwoo. He was a tall man with gray hair and scars on his hands. He had fought in 3 wars before joining the Council. He was the commander of Earth's military fleet. I have spoken with our contacts in the Galactic Council, Sunwoo continued. They express sympathy. They offer condolences. But they will not act. Why not? Demanded Jisoo. Because the Vora are powerful. They control 12 star systems. They have the largest fleet in this sector of space. The Council is afraid of them. Sunwoo walked to the center of the room and stood beside Taiho. And more importantly, the Council does not think humanity matters. We are new. We are small. We have only 6 colonies. In their eyes, we are insects. Our deaths do not concern them. The room exploded into noise. Leaders shouted at each other. Some demanded action. Others called for patience. A few suggested surrender, giving the Vora whatever they wanted to avoid more attacks. Taiho raised his hand, and the room went quiet again. I have listened to all of you for many years, he said. I have believed in your wisdom. I have believed that talking could solve any problem. I was wrong. He pressed a button, and the screens changed. They showed Earth's fleet, hundreds of ships stationed around the solar system. They were beautiful ships, built for exploration and defense. Not for war. When we first met the galaxy, we chose peace. We chose diplomacy. We chose to be polite. We thought that if we were kind, others would be kind to us. Taiho paused. But the universe is not kind. The universe is cold and dark and full of things that want to kill us. And we have been acting like children. What are you suggesting? Asked Chancellor Suho. I am not suggesting anything, Taiho replied. I am telling you what will happen. My daughter is dead. 12 million of our people are dead. And I will not let their deaths mean nothing. Commander Sunwoo stepped forward. For 200 years, we have hidden our true strength. When the Dark Century ended, we sealed away our most dangerous weapons. We thought we would never need them again. We thought the universe was civilized. The vault, whispered Jisoo. Her face went pale. Yes, the vault. Sunwoo's voice was hard. Weapons from the darkest time in human history. Things we built when we were fighting each other. Things so terrible that we promised never to use them again. You cannot be serious, said Suho. Those weapons were banned. They are too dangerous. They were banned because we had no enemy worthy of them, Taiho said. Now we do. The room was silent again. Everyone understood what was being proposed. This was not war. This was extinction. Total destruction of an enemy who had shown humanity no mercy. Representative Jisoo stood up. If we do this, we become monsters. We become no better than them. Taiho looked at her. For the first time, emotion crossed his face. Pain. Loss. Rage held behind a wall of ice. My daughter believed in peace. She moved to Hana 7 because she wanted to teach children. She wanted to grow old in a quiet place, surrounded by good people. His voice broke slightly, then hardened again. They killed her. They killed all of her students. They killed everything she loved. And you asked me not to become a monster? He walked toward the main communication terminal. This was the device that could send messages across the galaxy. Every species could receive it. Every council member. Every government. I am already a monster. They made me one. He entered his command codes. The system activated. Around him, the council members watched in silence. Some looked afraid. Others looked determined. A few were crying. What will you say? Jisoo asked quietly. Taiho looked at Commander Sunwoo. The two men had known each other for 30 years. They had served together, fought together, lost friends together. Now they would start a war together. Something simple, Sunwoo said. He walked to the terminal and entered his own codes. The system recognized both commanders and prepared to broadcast. Sun Wu leaned toward the microphone. His voice was calm and clear. This message is for the Vora Empire and for anyone else who is listening. You attacked our people. You killed our children. You thought we were weak. You thought we would accept this and move on. He paused. The entire room held its breath. You were wrong. We are not weak. We have simply been polite. We have held back because we believed in peace. We believed in mercy. We believed that the galaxy deserved our kindness. Another pause. Sun Wu's eyes were cold. That is over now. We are done being polite. We are coming for you. And we will not stop until there is nothing left. He pressed the send button. The message shot out into space at faster than light speeds. Within hours, every civilization in the galaxy would hear it. The Vora would hear it. The Galactic Council would hear it. Everyone would know that humanity had changed. Taeho watched the message go. He thought of Yuna, standing on her balcony, watching the sunrise. He thought of her smile, her kindness, her hope for a better universe. I'm sorry, daughter, he whispered. I could not protect you, but I can avenge you. The war had not started yet, but the signal had been sent. The promise had been made, and humanity would keep its promise, no matter what it cost. In the darkness of space, the Vora commanders received the message. They laughed. They thought it was a bluff. Humans were weak. Humans were prey. They did not understand what they had done. They had not just killed 12 million people. They had awakened something ancient and terrible. They had awakened humanity's rage. And rage, once awakened, does not sleep until it is satisfied. Deep beneath the mountains of the old world, there was a door. It was made of steel 3 meters thick, and it had not been opened in 200 years. Behind this door were the things that humanity wanted to forget. Engineer Hannah stood before the door with her team. She was 35 years old, with short black hair and steady hands. She had spent her career building things, ships, stations, homes for people in the stars. Now she was being asked to build something different. The codes have been verified, said her assistant Junho. He was young, barely 20, and he looked scared. Both the Admiral and the Commander have authorized access. I know, Hannah said. She stared at the door. She knew what was behind it. She had read the old files. She had seen the pictures from the Dark Century, when humans had turned these weapons on each other. Millions had died. Entire cities had been erased. After that war ended, humanity had agreed to never use such things again. They had sealed the weapons away and tried to become better, kinder, more civilized. Now the dream was over. Open it, she said. The door groaned as it moved. Ancient machines hummed to life. Lights flickered on inside the vault, revealing rows upon rows of metal containers. Each container held something terrible. Hannah walked inside. Her boots echoed on the concrete floor. She read the labels as she passed. Plasma bombs, nanoswarms, gravity weapons, biological agents. Things designed to kill in ways that no modern weapon could match. My God, whispered Junho. Why did we make these things? Because we were at war with ourselves, Hannah replied. Because we were afraid. Because humans, when they are truly desperate, can create horrors that no alien species can imagine. She stopped in front of a large container in the center of the vault. The label read, Project Silence. What is that? Junho asked. Hannah did not answer immediately. She opened a terminal next to the container and began reading the old files. Her face grew pale as she understood what she was looking at. It is a weapon that attacks faster than light communication, she finally said. Once activated, it spreads through space like a virus. Any ship using FTL travel or FTL communication within its range goes dark. Engines fail. Signals stop. Ships become tombs floating in the void. Junho looked sick. That is not a weapon. That is murder. Yes, Hana agreed. That is why it was sealed away. She moved to another container. This one was labeled Project Hunger. Nanomachines, she explained. They consume metal, plastic, organic matter, anything. Once released on a planet or a ship, they eat everything until nothing remains. Then they die, leaving behind only dust. We cannot use these things, Junho said. His voice was shaking. We cannot become this. Hana turned to look at him. Her eyes were sad but determined. I thought the same thing when I received my orders. I told Admiral Taiho that I did not want to do this. Do you know what he said? Junho shook his head. He said that his daughter also did not want to die. He said the children in that school did not want to burn. He said that 12 million people did not want to be erased from existence. Hana's voice hardened. He asked me one question. If we do not use these weapons, who will protect the next colony? Who will stop the Vora from killing more innocent people? I had no answer. She turned back to the containers. I still have no answer. So I will do my job. I will prepare these weapons. And I will pray that I am not damning us all. For the next 3 weeks, Earth shipyards worked without rest. Every ship in the fleet was called back for modifications. Engineers worked in shifts, sleeping only a few hours before returning to their stations. Hana led the effort. She designed new weapon systems that combined old technology with new. She created delivery systems for the nanoswarms. She upgraded the plasma bombs to be even more destructive. She turned exploration vessels into warships, and she hated every moment of it. One night, Commander Selmu visited the main shipyard. He found Hana working alone, installing a targeting system on a missile designed to carry Project Hunger. You have not slept in 3 days, Selmu said. Neither have you. Hana replied without looking up. Selmu sat down on the crate nearby. He watched her work in silence for a while. Then he spoke. The Galactic Council sent a message today. They are concerned about our military buildup. They have asked us to reconsider our position. Hana laughed. It was not a happy sound. They did not care when the Vora killed our people. Now they care because we are preparing to fight back. They are afraid, Sungwoo said. They know what humans are capable of. They have read our history. They know about our wars, our weapons, our capacity for destruction. For 200 years, they have watched us and waited, hoping we had truly changed. And now they know we have not, Hana said. She finished her work and finally looked at Sungwoo. Are you afraid, Commander? Sungwoo thought about the question. I am not afraid of the Vora. They are strong, but they are arrogant. They think their numbers will protect them. They do not understand what is coming. Then what are you afraid of? I am afraid of what we will become, he admitted. I am afraid that after this war, we will look in the mirror and not recognize ourselves. I am afraid that we will win and lose everything that made us worth saving. Hana nodded. She understood. She felt the same fear every time she worked on these weapons. My grandmother lived through the dark century, she said quietly. She told me stories about those times. The death, the suffering, the horror. She made me promise that I would never build weapons like the ones that destroyed her world. And now you are breaking that promise. Yes, Hana's voice cracked slightly. But I think she would understand. She would not want more children to die. She would not want the Vora to continue killing innocent people while we did nothing. Sungwoo stood up. He placed a hand on Hana's shoulder. Finish your work. Make the weapons as deadly as possible. And when this war is over, we will seal them away again. We will try to remember who we wanted to be, and if we cannot... Sungwoo did not answer. He simply walked away, leaving Hana alone with her creations. 2 weeks later, the fleet was ready. 200 ships, each one carrying weapons that could destroy worlds. They gathered in orbit around Earth, their hulls gleaming in the sunlight. Admiral Taiho stood on the bridge of the flagship, looking down at his home planet. He thought about all the people there, families, children, dreamers, who hoped for a peaceful future. He was going to war to protect them. But the cost would be terrible. Captain Minho approached him. He was a young officer, barely 30, with a reputation for boldness. Taiho had chosen him personally to lead the first strike force. "The fleet is ready, sir," Minho reported. "All weapons are online. All crews are at their stations. We await your command." Taiho nodded. He looked at the stars beyond his window. Somewhere out there, the Vora were waiting. They thought they were safe. They thought humanity was too weak to fight back. They were about to learn how wrong they were. "Set course for the Vora home system," Taiho ordered. "Maximum speed. No communications. No warnings." "Yes, sir." "And our rules of engagement?" Taiho's face was stone. "There are no rules. Not anymore." The fleet turned toward the darkness between the stars. The engines hummed with power, and humanity went to war. The Vora homeworld was called Vorath. It was a large planet with 3 moons, covered in sprawling cities and military bases. For 1,000 years, the Vora had ruled this region of space from here. They had conquered dozens of species. They had never lost a war. General Keth stood on his balcony and looked up at the night sky. He was old for a Vora, with scales that had turned gray with age. He had commanded the attack on Colony Hannah 7. It had been his decision to use the planet killer. His decision to leave no survivors. He did not feel guilt. Humans were insects. Their deaths meant nothing. The galaxy would forget about them in a generation, just like it had forgotten about all the other species the Vora had destroyed. His aide approached him. "General, there are reports of unusual activity at the edge of our system." "What kind of activity?" "Our long-range sensors detected something. Ships, perhaps. But they appeared and then vanished. We cannot confirm anything." Keth dismissed the concern with a wave of his hand. "It is nothing. The humans do not have the courage to attack us. They will send diplomats. They will beg for peace. And we will take whatever we want from them." He turned back to look at the sky. He did not know that at that moment, 200 human warships were dropping out of faster-than-light travel just behind the largest of Vorath's moons. Captain Minho stood on his bridge, watching the tactical display. The Vora fleet was scattered around the planet. 50 warships, another 100 smaller vessels. They had no idea what was coming. "All ships report ready," said his first officer, Yunji. She was a veteran of 2 previous conflicts, calm under pressure. "Weapons hot. Shields at maximum." "What are your orders, Captain?" asked the weapons officer, a young man named Seung. Mayor Nacho thought about the briefing Admiral Taiho had given them before they left Earth. There would be no negotiation, no surrender accepted, no mercy shown. The Vora had killed 12 million innocent people. Now they would pay the price. "Activate Project Silence," Minho ordered. "Target their communication networks and FTL drives. I want them deaf, blind, and unable to run." Seung entered the commands. From the belly of Minho's ship, a small missile launched. It flew toward the planet at impossible speed, then exploded in a burst of invisible energy. On Vorath, every FTL communicator went dead. Every ship lost its ability to call for help. Every engine designed for faster-than-light travel shut down and refused to restart. The Vora were trapped. General Keth's aide burst into his room. "Sir, we have lost all contact with the outer colonies. Our FTL systems are not working. Something is very wrong." Before Keth could respond, The sky lit up with fire. The human fleet came around the moon like a wave of death. They did not announce themselves. They did not offer terms. They simply opened fire with everything they had. The first Vora warship exploded before its crew even knew they were under attack. The second managed to raise shields, but a plasma bomb tore through them like paper. The third tried to flee, but with its FTL drive dead, it could not escape. It died trying. Minho watched the destruction with cold satisfaction. Target their military bases on the surface. Use the conventional weapons first. Save the special packages for later. Orbital bombardment began. Missiles rained down on Voreth's surface, destroying bases, shipyards, and weapons factories. Explosions bloomed across the planet like flowers of fire. The Vora fought back. They launched fighters, fired their ground-based weapons, threw everything they had at the human fleet. But it was not enough. The humans were too fast, too angry, too prepared. Captain Minho's ship took a hit to the port side. Alarms blared. Damage reports came flooding in. Shields down to 60%, Yunji reported. Minor hull damage. No casualties. Continue the attack, Minho ordered. They hit us. Now we hit them harder. He directed his ship toward the largest Vora warship, the flagship of their home fleet. It was a massive vessel, bristling with weapons, commanded by General Keth himself. Target their bridge, Minho said. Fire everything. The ship shook as it unleashed its weapons. Plasma beams, missiles, and projectiles flew toward the Vora flagship. The alien ship's shields flared and failed. The hull cracked open. Atmosphere vented into space. General Keth felt the floor shake beneath him. He heard his crew screaming as fire consumed them. He tried to reach the escape pods, but another explosion threw him against the wall. As he lay dying, he finally understood. The humans were not insects. They were not weak. They had simply been pretending. They had been wearing masks of peace while hiding the face of monsters. And now the masks were off. On the surface of Voreth, the civilian population watched their world burn. They had been told that the humans would never fight back. They had been told that the great Vora Empire was invincible. They had believed these lies. Now they ran through the streets, screaming. As their cities collapsed around them, Admiral Taiho monitored the battle from his flagship, which had stayed back to coordinate the attack. He watched the Vora fleet being destroyed piece by piece. He watched the military bases turning to rubble. He felt nothing. Admiral, said his communications officer, we are receiving a transmission from the planet. They want to surrender. Taiho was silent for a long moment. Surrender. The word meant nothing to him now. His daughter had tried to surrender too. She had tried to hide in a bunker with children and old men. The Vora had killed her anyway. Tell them we are not accepting surrenders, Taiho said. Sir, there are civilians on that planet. Millions of them. If we continue the bombardment, there were civilians on Hana 7 too, Taiho interrupted. His voice was ice. 12 million of them. The Vora did not care. Why should we? The officer hesitated. Other crew members on the bridge exchanged uncertain looks. They had all agreed to this mission, but now, seeing the reality of it, some of them were having doubts. Captain Minho's voice came over the communication system. Admiral, the Vora military has been eliminated. All warships destroyed. All bases are burning. What are your orders for the population centers? Taiho closed his eyes. He saw Yuna's face. He saw her smile, her kindness, her hope for a better universe. He saw her dying in fire. Leave nothing standing, he said. There was a long pause. Then Minho's voice, quieter now. Understood, sir. The second wave of bombardment began. This time, the targets were not military. Cities turned to craters. Monuments became dust. 1,000 years of Vora civilization was erased in hours. Engineer Hannah watched from her ship as Project Hunger was deployed on the largest remaining city. She saw the nanoswarms descend like gray clouds, consuming everything they touched. Buildings, vehicles, bodies, all of it dissolved into nothing. She turned away from the screen, and VOMITED.JUNHO stood beside her, his face blank with shock. "What have we done?" he whispered. Hannah could not answer. She did not know if what they had done was justice or murder. She only knew that it could not be undone. By the end of the first day, the Vora Empire's homeworld was silent. Nothing moved on its surface. Nothing lived. The great cities were gone. The people were gone. Everything was gone. Admiral Taiho received the final report in his quarters, alone. He read the numbers, the dead, the destroyed, the erased. Then he put down the report and looked at a photograph on his desk. It was a picture of Yuna, taken on her 20th birthday. She was laughing, surrounded by friends, full of life. "I avenged you," he told the photograph. "But I do not feel better. I feel empty." The picture did not answer. Yuna was gone. She would never come back. No amount of destruction could change that. Taiho sat in the darkness for a long time, thinking about what humanity had become. Then he stood up and returned to the bridge. There was still work to be done. The Vora had colonies, outposts, allies who might seek revenge. The war was not over yet. It was only beginning. The war lasted 30 days. When it ended, the Vora Empire no longer existed. Their homeworld was a dead rock. Their colonies were ruins. Their fleets were scrap metal floating in the void. A civilization that had terrorized the galaxy for 1,000 years had been completely erased. The Galactic Council watched in horror. They had seen wars before. They had seen empires rise and fall. But they had never seen anything like this. The humans had not just defeated the Vora. They had annihilated them. Every ship, every base, every city destroyed without mercy. Representative Nari of the Galactic Council stood before the assembly. She was from the Aldani species, an ancient race that had seen many civilizations come and go. But even she looked shaken. "The human fleet has returned to their home system," she reported. "They have made no demands. They have issued no threats. They simply stopped." "What do you mean, stopped?" asked another representative. "I mean, they destroyed everything they set out to destroy, and then they went home. As if nothing had happened. As if erasing an entire species was just another task to complete." The chamber was silent. Every representative understood what this meant. Humanity was no longer a young, harmless species. Humanity was now the most dangerous force in the galaxy. "We must respond," said Representative Koth of the Murthy Collective. "We cannot allow this aggression to go unanswered. Today it is the Vora. Tomorrow it could be us. And how do you suggest we respond?" Nari asked coldly. "The humans have weapons we do not understand. They destroyed FTL communications across an entire star system. They used nano-weapons that consumed cities in hours. Do you want to be the one who starts a war with them?" Koth had no answer. On Earth, Admiral Taiho addressed the United Council for the first time since the war began. He looked older now. The past 30 days had aged him more than the previous 30 years. But his voice was still strong. "The Vora are gone," he said. "Every one of their ships has been destroyed. Every one of their colonies has been neutralized. They will never threaten humanity again." There was no cheering, no celebration. The room was quiet and heavy with the weight of what had been done. "What happens now?" asked Representative Jisoo. She had opposed the war from the beginning. She still looked sick whenever she thought about it. Now we make sure this never happens again, Taiho replied. Not to us. Not to anyone. He pressed a button, and the screens around the room lit up. They showed images of the human fleet, larger now than before the war, equipped with weapons that could destroy worlds. We are going to send a message to the Galactic Council, Taiho continued. We are going to tell them who we are and what we expect. And we are going to make sure they understand that attacking humanity is no longer an option. Commander Sunwoo stepped forward. He carried a tablet with the prepared message. This broadcast will reach every corner of known space. Every species will hear it. Every government will receive it. What are we going to say? Asked Chancellor Suho. Taiho took the tablet from Sunwoo. He read the message silently, then looked up at the council. We are going to tell them the truth. 3 days later, the message was broadcast. Admiral Taiho stood in the communications center, facing a camera that would send his image across the galaxy. Behind him stood the flags of every nation on Earth. Beside him stood Commander Sunwoo, Engineer Hana, and Captain Minho, the leaders who had made the war possible. Taiho began to speak. My name is Admiral Taiho of the United Earth Fleet. 30 days ago, the Vora Empire attacked one of our colonies. They killed 12 million innocent people. Men, women, and children who had done nothing wrong. He paused, letting the words sink in. The Vora believed we were weak. They believed we would accept their attack and do nothing. They were wrong. Images appeared on screens across the galaxy. Images of the destruction of Varth. Images of Vora ships exploding. Images of cities turning to dust. We destroyed them. Completely. We did not stop until there was nothing left. This is what happens when you attack humanity. This is what happens when you hurt our people. The images faded. Taiho's face filled the screen again. For 200 years, we chose peace. We believed that kindness would be returned with kindness. We believed that the galaxy was civilized. We were naive. His expression hardened. We are not naive anymore. We know now that the universe is dangerous. We know that some species only understand one language, the language of force. So let me be clear about what humanity has become. He leaned forward slightly, his eyes burning with intensity. We are no longer the peaceful species you thought you knew. We are no longer willing to be victims. If you leave us alone, we will leave you alone. We will trade with you. We will help you. We will be your friends. His voice dropped to something cold and dangerous. But if you attack us, if you hurt our people, we will destroy you. Not defeat you. Destroy you. We will burn your worlds and erase your names from history. We will make the Vora look like a warning, because that is exactly what they are. He straightened up and took a breath. This is not a threat. This is a promise. Humanity has been polite for 200 years. That is over now. Respect us, and we will respect you. Attack us, and we will end you. The choice is yours. The broadcast ended. Across the galaxy, species watched in stunned silence. Some were terrified. Others were angry. A few were impressed. But all of them understood that something fundamental had changed. The Galactic Council held an emergency meeting. They debated for days about how to respond. Some wanted to condemn humanity. Others wanted to make peace. In the end, they did nothing. They were too afraid. On Earth, life slowly returned to normal. Ships were repaired. Soldiers went home. People tried to forget what had happened. But some things could not be forgotten. Engineer Hannah resigned from her position. She moved to a small colony on a quiet world, far from Earth. She never built another weapon again. She spent the rest of her life teaching children how to build houses, how to grow food, how to create instead of destroy. Captain Minho was promoted to admiral. He accepted the rank but requested a quiet assignment. He spent his days training young officers, teaching them how to fight, but also teaching them why fighting should always be the last choice. Commander Sun Woo retired. He wrote a book about the war, not a celebration, but a warning. He wanted future generations to understand the cost of what they had done. And Admiral Taiho? He visited the memorial for Colony Hannah 7 on the anniversary of the attack. It was a simple monument, a wall of names, 12 million names. Too many to read in a single lifetime. He found Yuna's name and touched it gently. "I hope you can forgive me," he whispered. "I did what I thought was right. I do not know if it was good, but I could not let them win. I could not let your death mean nothing." A young woman approached him. She was about Yuna's age, with the same kind eyes. "Admiral Taiho?" she said softly. "My name is Era. I was supposed to move to Hana 7 the week after the attack. My transport was delayed. I survived because I was late." Taiho looked at her. He did not know what to say. "I wanted to thank you," Era continued. "I know some people think what you did was wrong. I know some people call you a monster. But those people did not lose anyone on Hannah 7. I lost everyone. My parents, my brother, all my friends." Tears ran down her face, but she kept speaking. "You gave them justice. You made sure the Vora could never hurt anyone again. That means something. It means my family did not die for nothing." Taiho nodded slowly. He did not feel like a hero. He did not feel like a monster. He just felt tired. "I did what I had to do," he said. "I hope I never have to do it again." Era took his hand briefly. "I hope so too. But if someone else attacks us, I am glad that you will be there. I'm glad that humanity has people like you." She walked away, leaving Taiho alone with the names of the dead. He stayed there until sunset, watching the light fade. Then he returned to his ship and flew back to Earth. The war was over. The lesson had been taught. The galaxy would remember what happened to the Vora, and hopefully, no one would be foolish enough to test humanity again. But if they did, humanity would be ready. Humanity would always be ready, because the universe had taught them a hard truth. Peace is a gift that must be protected. And sometimes, the only way to protect peace is to become so dangerous that no one dares to break it. The stars were quiet that night. But in the silence, there was a warning dot: do not wake the humans. Let them sleep. Let them dream of peace, because when they wake up angry, worlds burn.